Paying it forward one slice at a time, local Philadelphia pizzeria has caught the attention of the city with its unique generosity. Hello, I'm Madison Elliott.
And I'm Steve Graham. LaSalle has made a historical move in the past week with a woman at the reins of it all. We have all this and more coming up.
Hello and welcome to LTV News, where we bring you everything LaSalle, Philadelphia, and global news.
We have a full show for you this episode. Madison sits down with the coordinators of Project Appalachia, a service trip here at LaSalle.
And later, Corey Meredith brings you a debate panel with none other than our own Mark Lashley and his recently published article on the retirement of Jon Stewart. But first, let's get to some LaSalle news.
Currently, the biggest news surrounding the university is the installment of the new president. After a long and grueling process, LaSalle made history on February 12th, establishing the first layperson and woman as president in the school's 152 years. According to LaSalle, Colleen Hanick is now the 29th president of the university. Prior to her hiring at LaSalle, Hanick was the principal of Brescia University College in Ontario, Canada. Over her 7 years there, Hanick helped raise the school's enrollment drastically. She is not only an accomplished educator, but also an attorney. She is a woman of many talents and will formally succeed Brother Michael J. McGinnis after the spring term. She said she was honored and humbled to be appointed as the LaSalle next president. We are excited and happy for Hanick and wish her the best of luck.
The university has just recently added automated external defibrillators to various locations around campus, bringing the total to 22. According to AED.com, the life-saving equipment analyzes and detects cardiac arrhythmias and produces a shock which allows it to return to a normal rhythm. Reporter Mickey Kelly had the chance to see how an AED works, and he will give you more.
Imagine one day a friend, a classmate, or roommate suddenly collapses. What do? We're attending an AED demonstration here at Holroyd. Let's check it out. In collaboration with Heart Health Awareness Month, students had a chance to see what an AED is used for. Dina Lesliak explains.
An AED, that stands for an automatic external defibrillator. And when the heart goes into an irregular rhythm, it basically can neutralize the rhythm and restart it into a normal rhythm. Well, we only had about 5 or 6 of these AEDs on campus before, and through the Health Advisory Committee we were able to write a proposal, and we got 17 more units that were installed by facilities at the end of January. Now, what's special about these units are it's a much simpler unit. The pads on the old ones are 2 pads, the new one is a 1 pad. So the pads have pictures of where these pads go on the chest. So it makes it much simpler with it's only 1 pad. And number 2, the machine will analyze the rhythm and it will determine if you need to shock the patient. So you don't even have to push a button.
Is it necessary to have a certification to use an AED?
Absolutely not. Like I said, this is meant for the lay public. They're in malls, they're in airports, and the thing with it is that anybody can use it. The machine will talk you through.
Take the necessary steps today to save a life. I am. Reporting live from Holroyd, I'm Mickey Kelly for LaSalle TV News.
Thanks for that report, Mickey. For our next item on campus, make sure to mark your calendars. The spring job fair is just a month away. This job fair will include a sea of companies, nonprofit organizations, government agencies, and graduate schools looking for students like you, regardless of your major. Don't forget to look and dress your best and to update those resumes beforehand. The event will be held from 12 to 3 p.m. on March 26th. For more details and tips to prepare you for the job fair, simply check the announcements page on your LaSalle portal.
With almost half the semester already over, spring break is not too far on the horizon. While most students use their break to relax, some select students use their spring break to give back. I had a chance to sit down with the coordinators for Project Appalachia, a service trip that spends a week building houses in Harlan, Kentucky. Take a look. Hello, I'm reporter Madison Elliott for LTV News, and I'm here with the coordinators of Project Appalachia. We have Kara, Vince, and Kristen, who we also like to call Wheels. And we are going to Harlan, Kentucky, and we are leaving February 28th. And as you can see, I'm repping my Kentucky swag. This is the traditional garb of a Harlanite, if I'm correct. They support a lot of University of Kentucky. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Sure, thanks for having us.
So you guys have been on this retreat since you were freshmen, correct?
Yes.
So what made you first want to get involved with it?
My brother was actually involved in the trip when he was here at LaSalle. He graduated in 2009, and he kind of inspired me to get involved in service, and that was kind of my draw towards the trip. But later on, learning that, it was actually the experience I had there that kept me coming back, so I eventually wanted to coordinate.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I know for me in high school, I had to do this project. It was called Compelling the Conscience of a Nation. So I actually researched Appalachia, like the whole region, and learned about poverty there, and then had to present to my class why I thought it was important for people to care about it. So that had me interested in Appalachia. So then coming to LaSalle, when I heard that there was a service trip, I was pretty excited because there was a way for me to get involved besides just doing the research. I got to go and get my hands dirty down in the area that I've learned so much about.
I think for me, I knew coming to LaSalle I wanted to get involved with community service, and I'd never been on a service trip before. And I'd never heard of Harlan, Kentucky, and I didn't know much about Appalachian poverty at all, so that really struck me at the service trips open house, and then that really drew me in, being with a big group of people, staying in a cabin, and just the unique kind of poverty they have there, and that I had been pretty ignorant of it before. Made me want to get more educated and get involved in a part of our country that seems to be forgotten by a lot of people.
And just for people who don't know what Project Appalachia is, can you guys explain it a little bit for the viewers at home?
Sure. So we're a service trip that's been going to the Appalachian region, whether it was West Virginia or Harlan County, Kentucky, for nearly 40 years now. Disputed whether we're on the 39th or 40th year. We go and we work with Christian Outreach with Appalachian people, a organization of carpenters, and they help build low-income homes, and they always have volunteer groups going through, and so we work with them on a few different sites each week. We do other service trips throughout service projects in the area, whether going to the soup kitchen or the elementary schools, and just try to get more involved with Harlan, more educated, and try to impact the community in a positive way.
Why did you guys decide to become coordinators?
I think it was kind of something that I didn't think about until about the third, fourth year. It's, we talk about this all the time, it's kind of an experience that's much larger than us, and to be a leader of this group and to know that, we're in charge of organizing the trip, when we go down there, that kind of stuff, in charge of the group. I was kind of drawn towards that aspect of it, especially working with Karen and Chris, and we all have sort of like a very fervent, ideal towards the trip. So we thought that we could do a good job, and hopefully we do this year.
So as for your participants on this trip, how do you think it's changed over the years? Do you think it has?
This year will be the smallest group that's been going that we know of, and definitely in the past 4 years. So that'll be a different aspect, a little bit more room in the cabin, maybe working on one work site, but overall maybe a more intimate feeling between the group participants. So that's one change, is the size.
And it was split into 2 trips this year, right?
Yep, it's going to be a summer trip as well to Harlan, Kentucky. That will also be the same size group as we're bringing down. We decided to split it into 2 groups just so that more people get a chance to actually go on the trip in total, because before it was 40, now it's switched over to about 50 people able to go. So
That's
it's
great.
like more of a service experience for a wider group of people.
And this is one of the biggest service trips at LaSalle, correct? Because so many people go on it.
Yes.
Wow.
So, you have Habitat that goes down to North Carolina as far as, and they also have 2 trips too. So I think it's great that they're splitting it up, because, you're not only helping this area in that particular just spring break, now we're going down the summer as well. So the jobs may change as, time goes on, but
It's more time to do more.
Absolutely.
And more people
Yeah.
get to go
Yeah.
now, so.
So-
Each trip's a new trip. Are there any secrets that can be revealed about the trip now that's coming up? Or we can't now? Not yet? It's all a secret. It's a surprise.
So,
And we
Yes,
do
do have things planned. Yeah, I mean it's a stress, but
I don't know. I can't think of any secrets.
No, I can't think of
keeping
anything
from you.
besides, I don't know, stuff that we have planned as coordinators, but, you know, that's for the members of the church, you know, as well as you to. Yeah, we do have a few things planned, so we're excited about it, you know, it's a week away, so.
And do you think you guys have like a most memorable moment or funniest moment? I know a lot of funny moments come out of the cabin. So
Every year there's a whole bunch of pranks pulled. So some of my favorite application memories are like sardines getting poured on someone in the shower.
hear about that. You guys forgot to mention
Pretty
that.
smelly. Things getting wrapped in saran wrap.
Yeah. It's a group, we split into two groups last year, and one group was at Christ Hand serving, you know, at the soup kitchen, while my group was back at the house, and we did family skits, and it just ended up, we split up into two groups and kind of just like made a kind of dysfunctional family or whatever, and it ended up turning out like great. We just put on these huge skits, each person had a different role. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know.
And can you guys comment about the people in Harlan? Because that's something that's always like reiterated, the people who are there. It's so much different than here. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. I think when we get into a neighborhood of the work site that we're going to work on, getting a chance to get to talk to a neighbor, I guess just last year with another participant, Anthony. We spoke to a woman for an hour, 2 hours in her home. We went back to say hi because a year before that, she had asked us to bring over a piece of furniture from an abandoned house that we were working on over to her house. We came back and she had us inside, offered to get us something to eat, to drink, and she just kind of shared her family history with us. So I'd say they're, overall, the experiences I've had are very open people, hospitable people, and incredibly grateful. And you won't even have done anything, and they know why you're there, and so at least the intention of being there is greatly appreciated by them, which is really remarkable.
And they really know co-op.
Yeah.
So like when students are down there, they're really grateful to them because it
Exactly.
helps a lot of people in that area, right?
Yeah,
They build a lot of homes for them. So.
absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, that's all the questions I have for you guys. So thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Thanks,
Thank
Maddie.
you.
Well, that's all that we have time for this interview segment. Thanks for joining me. I'm reporter Madison Elliott for LTV News.
Thank you, Madison, and thank you to the coordinators for sitting down and telling us what the trip is all about. It's wonderful to see people so passionate about service. Well, that wraps up LaSalle News. We are going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we will have your Philadelphia news, and later, reporter Bethany Lowe takes us to the pizzeria that gives back.
I'm a writing center tutor, and I know more.
I'm an athlete and I know more.
I'm a professor and I know more.
I'm in Greek life and I know more.
I'm an RA and I know more.
If you see someone who may be at risk of sexual assault, step up and keep them safe. For more information about sexual assault and what you can do to prevent it, visit knowmore.org. Show your support by speaking out against sexual assault by using the No More hashtag on social media.
Welcome back. Here is what's abuzz in Philadelphia for the upcoming 2 weeks. The confetti will be floating through Philadelphia in 2016 as the Democratic National Convention is coming to our city next year. This is the first Democratic National Convention Philadelphia has hosted since 1948, when President Harry Truman was the Democratic nominee. While this may be a first for the Democrats, the Republican National Convention was previously held in Philadelphia in 2000 between Al Gore and George Bush. The convention will be split between the Wells Fargo Center and the Convention Center July 25th through 28th. Former Governor Ed Randell, Mayor Nutter, Senator Bob Casey, along with city officials, all played a key role in rallying support and fundraising for the $85 million needed to host the event. Philadelphia beat out Ohio and New York for the bid. Security, transportation, and venue all played into the DNC decision to bring the convention back to where it all started.
Philadelphia has a rich cultural mixture that has helped shape the city's vibrant background, and Black History Month helps celebrate this diversity. The City of Brotherly Love is offering many ways this February to observe the month with a wide range of activities. The Philadelphia Museum of Art is offering an African American art gallery from now until April 5th. The African American Museum of Philadelphia offers exhibits year-round, and the Barnes Foundation displays traditional African masks and sculptures from Northeast Liberia. While Black History Month ends February 28th, these exhibits will run into March and April, so be sure to check them out. For more details, go to visitphilly.com.
Now we are going to send it over to reporter Bethany Lowe, who takes us to Rose's Fresh Pizza Place, a place with walls decorated by letters and post-it notes for a purpose. Take it away, Bethany.
Philadelphia is home to a unique pizza shop that makes a big difference. Rosa's Fresh Pizza on 11th Street brings the $1 pizza of New York to the city of brotherly love.
I was working in New York on Wall Street doing finance stuff. I had kind of plateaued at my job and wasn't really learning a ton. And I had always wanted to own my own business. I saw the success of the dollar pizza stores throughout Manhattan. So I decided to come back to Philly, start a business like that, something simple and elegant.
Delicious pizza is not all Rosa's is known for.
In March of 2014, so last year, a customer came in after having read that we serve a lot of homeless people, and he asked if he could buy a slice or pre-purchase a slice for a homeless person that would come in who was short a couple cents. Took his dollar, ran out, got post-it notes, put one up, and told a few more customers that day who bought more slices. They liked the idea, and inevitably a couple days later, a homeless person came in, only had 65 cents, but we told him keep the change. It was already paid for, and through word of mouth, this thing is just really blown up, kind of.
Rosa's Pay It Forward post-it note system has gained the national spotlight.
In January, when the Ellen Show picked us up and aired the story, that was basically when it was a wrap, because she's got a huge following, went national, got picked up by a bunch of other news outlets and media coverage, just exploded. The Ellen Show was a lot of fun, though, you know? I mean, very few people get to be in that position, and I'm very fortunate to have that experience.
After providing over 10,000 slices to Philadelphia's homeless, Rosa's has gone a step above to make a difference.
For each sweatshirt I sell, I donate another sweatshirt to a homeless person. But what's really cool about them is on the inside of the sweatshirt, there is a schedule that the homeless recipient can use for schedules of meals and locations of feedings, where they can go every day of the week for each meal of the day, and a schedule and location for computer classes to try to get them some more durable resources on the back of a consumable good. So the pizza, people come in, they consume it every day, and that's great, but they're in very much the same position that they were in the day before and the day before that, and this is kind of our first step into making permanently kind of improving their value to society, kind of.
Rosa's Pizza is feeding Philadelphia one slice at a time with their Pay It Forward program. For LaSalle TV, I'm Bethany Lowe.
Thanks, Bethany. What a place. It's great seeing the community of Philadelphia help address one of the biggest problems in this city, poverty. Now that we have covered Philadelphia news, let's get into some national news. Take it away, Madison.
Thanks, Steve. This winter has certainly left its mark. Frigid temperatures mark the coldest days on record, but the biggest record breaker is the snow. Boston has been hit by snowstorm after snowstorm. According to the National Weather Service, Beantown has received over 97 inches of snow and about 59 inches in just the month of February alone. This is the second snowiest season on record and will soon become the snowiest winter if it doesn't let up soon. It has become so bad that homeowners are shoveling their roofs in fear they will cave in. We wish Boston the best of luck and remind them that spring is only a few weeks away.
There is a new hope in the science community to prevent a sexually transmitted infection. According to the Toronto Sun, the Scripps Research Institute tested a treatment on 4 monkeys in hopes of finding a preventative treatment for HIV. So far, the results are promising. An innocuous virus was injected into the primates, which triggered the body to produce a protein. Theoretically, that protein is able to block the HIV virus from latching onto cells, and therefore the virus can be removed completely from the body. After another stage of animal testing, researchers hope to proceed to human trials. Even if human trials go well, there will still be many more steps in order to have this drug on the market.
As many know, Jon Stewart's retirement has caused much controversy. We send it over to Corey Meredith, who sits down with student Gavin Lichtenstein and Dr. Mark Lashley, who just recently published an article in the Huffington Post about the current event. All yours, Corey.
Hello and welcome to today's debate. I'm Corey Meredith and we are joined by LTV analysis, Kevin Lichtenstein, as well as LaSalle Communication Professor Dr. Mark Lashley. Thank you both for joining us today. So today's issue is centered around the announcement that Jon Stewart is going to be leaving The Daily Show, and Dr. Lashley actually wrote an article for the Huffington Post on this issue entitled Jon Stewart is retiring and it's going to be, in parentheses, kind of okay. So let's just get started in it. How do you feel about Stewart leaving? Do you think this is going to affect the viewership? What do you think this leaves for the network?
Yeah, this is a time period where Comedy Central is going to make some interesting decisions. It's also a good time of, kind of opportunity for them. Jon Stewart's a guy who's been there for 16 years, kind of been doing really good work, but the same kind of work for a really long time. And he's a cultural institution, and the network's got to be sad to see him leave, but they also had to know that this was coming at some point. And they'll need to be pretty creative about who they bring in and what the show's going to look like in the future to kind of maintain the audience level that they've had.
Yeah, and I really think it comes to a surprise to many, especially because they were still bringing in such pretty big hosts. He was still bringing in some of the top politicians and figures in the United States. Ratings were certainly still high. He had a great core with young voters, young people, which I think people connected with. Got people involved in politics that usually wouldn't be interested. He added a spin that can't easily be replaced. So it'll be interesting to see going forward really what they add to, because now they have two holes to fill. So it'll be interesting to see the pieces that they put together.
Jumping back a little bit, the show is a political satire on Comedy Central, and it's known that a lot of younger generations are getting their news from the show. People think that's problematic because it is a political satire. What do you guys take on this?
Well, I love when people talk about how or try to dismiss people as uninformed if they get their news from The Daily Show, and before with Stephen Colbert and some of these other satirical news kinds of pieces that are on there. But a lot of the research really shows that their audiences are some of the most informed. It's not that they just get their news from that source. They're sort of well-rounded news consumers in general. And there's also an argument to be made that getting your news from Jon Stewart is not the worst thing in the world. He has better accuracy ratings than a lot of other newscasters do, even though he insists he's not a newscaster. But it's interesting. I never really see the problem so much. I don't know.
I would rather people tune into him than The Onion. I mean, compared to other sources of similar, I mean, people come on the show like Bobby Jadell, governor of Louisiana. He's a person that is on Meet the Press. He's a person that's on MSNBC. Shows that usually have older audiences. So now you have a person connecting big figures in politics at a local level. I think it's great.
Well, now that we both decided it's really not that much of a problem, considering that Jon Stewart's leaving now, I have to ask you the most asked question. Who do you think will replace or will be a good replacement for Jon Stewart?
Do you want to take that one? I don't know.
I don't have any real names. I've always liked to see, and I said the same thing with The Tonight Show, I always would like to see a woman put into the spot, because I think it's where we are in society. I think it would be great to give them the opportunity, because I think it's an obvious fact that women can do the job as better, if not better than men. And so change it up a little bit. So yeah, I have no real names off the top of my head right now.
I agree that a person of color or a woman is probably a good choice. Should that be the deciding factor? I don't know. I mean, Stewart's built kind of an army of really good correspondents that have gone on to do really awesome things, like John Oliver, and now Larry Wilmore hosts the show that's on after The Daily Show, and obviously Colbert and these kinds of people. And one of the first names that jumped out was Jessica Williams, who's one of the younger correspondents on The Daily Show, and how she would be really great, but she says she's not ready and doesn't want to do it. And you know, there's so many names getting thrown out there. It's going to be tough.
So what do you think the future for The Daily Show is? Do you think that they're going to kind of change the format of it, change the genre and the structure, or you think that they're going to stick with what the show is and kind of just find someone to replace Jon Stewart in a way that it won't really hurt what the show's format is now? Well,
you know, nobody replaces Jon Stewart. I mean, he built that show. He wasn't the first host of that show, but he was the guy who built it. So that kind of has to be taken into consideration. I think, you know, I don't see Comedy Central like going away from the political aspect of it. I don't know if it'll be as smart under a new host. Those are different kinds of things, but you know, the way that that's worked is the host has been the executive producer, and so the host gets to kind of start the direction. So whatever that choice is will be, you know, the show will take on that person's personality, I think.
Yeah, and one thing is, whoever the new host is, they can't go into trying to be Jon Stewart. You can't go into it, because Jon Stewart just asked these questions that were so, made you think, made you question, made you challenge society in a way that it's natural to him, but it's not natural to everyone. Mm-hmm. So the new host can't just come in and try to be Jon Stewart. They have to really try to find their own mold, and that easily could be through a new format. So time will only tell with that. But yeah, no, I think it could really be a problem if they try to be Jon Stewart, and that's where ratings will hurt, because they'll always be compared to Jon Stewart.
Well, I think it's safe to say Jon Stewart will be missed, but the show must go on. Thank you both again for joining me today. So we're going to send it back over to Madison and Steve to close out the show.
Thanks, Corey. The question now is, what will Jon Stewart do? Well, that's all we have time for in this show. Be sure to find us on the web, as well as the rest of LaSalle TV, on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalle TV.
You can tweet at us at LaSalle TV Philly, or email us your thoughts at lasalletv@lasalle.edu. If you missed the scoop and want to see it, you can find episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/LaSalle56.
Until next time, for Madison, Corey, and the entire crew, I'm Steve Graham. Thanks for watching LTV News, because the action never stops.